Jodie, good morning.
Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
Very well. This is an interesting take on this. What is an alpha manager?
So, I just want to make it clear from the outset that when we think of an alpha, we often think of an alpha male.
Yeah.
But when I'm talking about an alpha leader or an alpha manager, I'm referring to male or female.
Yep.
So they're your typical confident, dominant, ambitious, competitive, self-reliant and independent sort of leader, someone who is really comfortable in throwing their weight around. That's what we're talking about here.
Okay. So by ordering workers to go back to the office, is that an alpha move, or is it just common sense about trying to improve productivity?
There's two aspects to that question, Stephen. The first one being, is it an alpha move? Maybe, maybe not, or maybe it's just they've not worked collaboratively and successfully remotely. And then the second part was, sorry, what was the second part to your question?
Improving productivity.
Well, does it really improve productivity? Okay, some people would say that they're better in an office environment, but let's face it, sometimes in an office environment, it can be quite distracting, especially in the legal industry with the known open office spaces that we've got right now.
Yeah.
And the talking at the water cooler.
But isn't that collaboration part of improving productivity? Because, I mean, my biggest problem with the whole work from home era is that the measurement of productivity is about asking the workers if they feel more productive on the whole. There hasn't been a lot of genuine evidence-based studies on whether productivity has been improved by it.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. But I think if you're asking people if they're productive versus whether they are really productive is a different thing. And I think we need to measure it by the output. Are your client services standards being met? Are your clients happy? If your clients are still happy, why do you have to be in the office, or why do you have to be at home? Can there be a hybrid model? Can it work both ways? Well, if your clients are happy, why not?
And I have no difficulty with that. But on the whole, I mean, and I, talking from a consumer's perspective, if my lawyer's not in the office, I'm asking, well, hang on, what are they doing?
Yeah, good point. I get that. But if being in the office, I mean, we also have to look at the clients. Do clients want to come in and visit their lawyer? Do they want to feel that they have to get dressed up, sit in a stinking hot or stinking cold office, be really not comfortable in a lawyer's office environment when there's suits walking around everywhere? Would they be more comfortable in their own business and have the lawyer come out to their business? Ultimately, that's what we're protecting when we're doing business law. Is we're protecting their business. So why not come out, look at their business, work that way? I mean, that can work too.
Well, I can explain that from a business perspective, is because you charge per 6-minute increment, and you're charging that as soon as you leave the office to come to me. So I'd rather come to you for free.
Well, look, lawyers are still going to charge when you're in the office and you've got room hires and things like that if you're working in a serviced office.
Yeah.
The 6-minute is running in, Stephen, either way.
No, I know that. But what I'm talking is I'm not paying for travel time at 6 minutes in 6-minute increments. But
that's right. And that's a conversation that clients could have with their lawyers about travel time. And I'm sure there's we've got some leniences around that, and don't charge some of our clients that.
Well, look, then I should probably be doing more business with you guys if that's the case. But
you should, Stephen.
Let's talk about this from the alpha perspective, though, from a management perspective. Look, I would argue that on the whole, a vast majority of managers are going to be these type of alphas because it's the go-getters that get the management positions.
Well, I think we're seeing some other more. True leadership comes from a different point as well. We're now seeing some of that old-fashioned managers moving on, or going into staying at particular roles or moving on. But we're finding the new leaders are going to be more supportive and have a more collaborative environment, and they're going to be empathetic and inclusive, right? And you're going to motivate your staff more that way, and you're not going to have a revolving door if you've got these old-fashioned views.
So isn't that a case for getting people back to the office then to maintain that collaboration and that collaborative approach?
Well, I think if you're smart about it as a practice manager or a manager at that level, if you're smart about it, you can still have your team collaborate remotely. I mean, you can have a hybrid arrangement where you don't have to be in the office every day.
Yeah.
You could have an anchor day, anchor Tuesday or anchor Thursday, where you can go in and work on big projects together. But then people from those projects then have individual tasks they need to do, which they could likely do at home if you've got the innovation, the technology. Teams is, give it a plug, Teams is a great thing to keep everyone connected. You can have that line open, instant communication with your team. If there's a question, you can, if you're making a phone call and you need to train a junior lawyer, you can have them listen in on that phone call. If you're smart about it, there's still ways that you can do it remotely without having to stand over someone.
It's certainly a fascinating discussion. Obviously the discussion, the broader discussion at the moment is mostly about public servants, in the current election environment anyway. And I argue that if I'm paying the wages, then I expect you to turn up to work. But from a broader industry perspective, it's certainly an interesting discussion to have. Jodie, really good to talk to you this morning.
Thanks so much, Stephen.
All the best. Jodie Engerer, Legal Practice Manager at Taurus Legal Management.